Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Martha Wangari Karua have actually confirmed her decision to challenge William Ruto's win in East African Court of Justice in Arusha. And I want to tell you here that that decision was soul-searched and it had deeper hands. It is not what people see as just another futile move. The move does not or will not change the fact that William Ruto is a president, but there is the target of making that move. It is well designed with set objectives. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and also like our video. I know many people have seen that information, and again, they've been like, why? I analyzed here that initially, this decision was supposed to be made immediately Supreme Court released the full verdict. After that was on date 26, but it was not done until now. Let's question on the timing, and we'll also look at back home politically. What does that portray, or what does it portend for the Azimio wing? But let's get to the fact. Let's get to our fact sheet. Our fact sheet is what is really the truth. Karua, alongside Muslims for Human Rights Director Karua-Khelef, wrote to the court on Thursday, November, arguing their August 9th election grievances. They're saying, we are not filling this reference not only to enable the truth to come to light, but also so that we can secure guarantees of non-recurrence of failures in this sensitive area of elections in the future. We want the truth, according to them, we want the truth to come out, and number two, to avoid recurrence of the same. We took our dispute to the Supreme Court, hoping for a fair hearing. However, it undermined the rule of law by violating the right to a fair trial. According to Karua, the ruling made on Monday, 15 September, was not a reflection of thorough investigations as it downplayed the nation's integrity. Furthermore, the petitioners argued that the Apex Court failed to oversee thorough scrutiny of election technology. I promise you that I'll book a session with Pius to delve more, just to revisit a bit of the election technology. Now, Karua is saying that recommendations made by the Apex Court on reforming IBC were less effective since the existing mistakes were not punished. There are some existing mistakes that are not punished. The court also found that chairperson of the IBC conducted the election in an unlawful manner, but the findings again had no legal consequences. Khelef and Karua petition is touching on the failure of IBC to address problematic voter register issues that were identified from the previous audits. Ladies and gentlemen, that is just from my fact sheet. That is what Karua is talking about. Before we actually look at the political angle in it, let me tell you, this move is coming barely 2 months, close to 2 months after William Ruto. Actually, it's 2 months after Ruto was sworn in. Ruto was sworn in on 13th September. Today is 11th, so it's just around 2 months. And the timing is very skeptical. There are civil servants in government and spies within different agencies and different players who have come out threatening that they are ready to spill the beans. These are the forces, these are the powers behind Martha Karua and the Khelef. Someone is asking, what is the evidence that Azimio is having that could not convince Supreme Court back here in Kenya that is now going to convince a court in Tanzania? Let me tell you. We have seen people who were promised a lot of stuff by William Ruto. They were playing integral roles in the last general election, and there have been reports circulating in the media outlets, especially in the newspapers, that I was promised something, I did something for Uhuru, for William Ruto, I was not given it. That is the first batch, civil servants. That is the first batch that will now really address the real problem. I am telling you, that is the first group that will address the real problem. If something happened, if someone knew something about the last general election, and remember, in fact, immediately after election, it has been announced, then you're challenging it in court. The people out here who are not within really a BBC portfolio, ABC structure, that have a lot of data and a lot of information outside, but they did not find opportunity to present them to Supreme Court. Now, the Martha Karua case, Martha Karua-Khelef case that's now heading to Tanzania is a platform. They are just giving Kenyans with any credible information to give them. And I'm telling you, civil servants, people who are at the center of elections, different agencies, be it the police, this is the time. And I said one thing, that if there is a problem, if there's something that William Ruto, in my opinion, he actually got it. He didn't get it right. He had a good intention, but was not done in the best way. Going after the men of uniform, going after the police. There is going to be a ripple effect. And such platforms like the one Martha Karua and Khelef, the case that they're presenting, is giving an opportunity for deeper, underground, deep-rooted things to come out. Number two, there are two forces, three forces. The second force behind Martha Karua is IBC itself. I have a feeling government has been formed. Decision by Boya Molo to apply to be a permanent secretary, to be appointed as permanent secretary, was well informed. He did not just apply as an ordinary Kenyan. No. He applied, and I believe there could be behind the scene conversations or other agreements that he will be given a position somewhere in government. There would be. That is a high possibility. So there are people within IEBC that will now find opportunity to feed Azimio what exactly happened on one ground, that things did not go right. Remember now, they're actually leaving the stage. They're leaving the stage. Maybe some of them were promised some stuff, some work that seems to have not been seen, and things are not going right. So another thing I can say, and in fact I can tell you that we expect a different case in Tanzania. Don't expect the usual, the usual track evidence that was presented here. No, I don't think they will track. There will be a lot of revelation, and the reason why this is going to be very critical is Karua is not just making any decision, and this is not about Martha Karua. This is a decision that is well hatched within Azimio space. It's Raila, Uhuru, everyone who was within Azimio, Kalonzo, they are behind this case, but they have decided to go through Martha Karua. By then, Karua-Khelef was also part of the last presidential petition, so there is nothing new. Third force. We've always cried of international forces or foreign forces. Could there be that there are also voices of discontent? There are also feelings that people have been shortchanged. This is the opportunity. And it's international platform. This is where you now hear people traveling to Tanzania to be recorded and give evidence because they're even out of the country. This is bigger than what many people seems to be saying that, okay, Martha Karua should accept and move on. This case will have a lot of repercussions, and you just need to wish it at your own. You can just wish it, but wish it away. But for me, having looked at the kind of environment that the timing, Boya Molu have been dropped, there's been a lot of conversation that is going on. And so there are powerful forces behind Martha Karua. But what do you think this case brings in our politics? What do you think Martha Karua's decision, or rather let me just face it, Azimio's decision to continue pushing for this election case, what does it hold for our politics? Let me tell you. This case will not end like the Kenyan one, where it's hard and this will take time. It takes time. And the more it's coming, and Kenyans will be following it from that end, it actually changes the direction of our lenses from the State House, or rather from the Supreme Court to the Court of Arusha. It will be an opportunity for Kenyans to continue with the conversation about free and fair election. It will prolong that conversation because people seem to have been fatigued and they have been consumed by a narrative that, okay, we have a government, let's move on. Let's not talk about the past. I've even seen people in this channel, some say, hey Kevin, let's not talk about the last election, let's move on. It's fine. But one of the reasons why Martha Karua and the team are making this is critically they are making this move to propel that conversation about election justice. And as I said, this is a platform for revelations to come. There are now new developments that are going to emerge. It's just going to push the judiciary commandos. I have always, my position has been this. Supreme Court, Azimio had a very tight case in the court. I doubt of whether they had sufficient evidence. But again, availability of evidence was depending on many other factors. For example, access to the server is at the mercies of IBC. But the judges, our apex court, could still have had a very strong judgment on that case. But the way the judgment was packaged, it was not real. It did not meet the threshold. It underscored the case. It looked like it's activism, and that's what goes wrong. By the way, someone should tell Martha Karua that people don't have a problem with that verdict. The big problem was delivery. I wish they wouldn't even have called that TV screen and make it. It's not a must. They would have just sent it to the newsrooms and it's read by the news anchors and it gets there. That was the problem. Now, it actually brings that conversation. I see Martha Karua critically trying to elevate herself as the next force to lead the election reform agenda. You need to take up the role. When she takes this, she actually elevates, she picks the mantle because no one is going to tell you, take it. She's actually leading the front on that to take the election reform agenda because the case is floated and critically it will help Azimio to discredit William Ruto legitimacy. As this goes on, we've been told Supreme Court decided, so that's the end of it. As this goes on, what do you think? What do you think of it? Azimio wants to already discredit William Ruto and reduce the legitimacy threshold when this conversation is going on. I don't know, because the case is being decided in Tanzania, so it will have some diplomatic issue. I don't know. There's someone, is it foreign affairs? Diplomats can give us a very good input into that. Recommendations easily triggers civil societies in advancing democracy. There was a bit of what will call Nyamaza, but the Khelef in that case, it's advancing advancing democracy. Even though someone was just telling me, oh, this case is also going to put money in people's pockets, including Martha Karua. What about it? The question we should never fail to answer, ladies and gentlemen, hello Kenyans. We are right to accept and we acknowledge William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua as the president and deputy president of this country by law. But that should not, we should not have hangers on things like election technology. I want to repeat this one thing I once mentioned in my analysis, that we can lose anything, but we should not lose the need for us to fix the issue of election technology. According to the report, we're supposed to have progressive technology. If next time we don't solve it and we still go through the same way, our justice, our democracy will be buried. It will be buried. Whatever is happening at presidency will happen at governor, at senate, and other elected posts. And with that, our democracy will be buried. Computers will be generating for us the leaders. We must fix this. And as Timbold, of course, I'll try to revisit a bit on the election technology. I have really some expert who has been willing to give us an interview. We are going to speak about what exactly is happening in relation to the election technology. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Let's meet in the next.